Welcome to another episode of Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, as always joined by Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. The Rangers are in the playoffs, and this week they'll open up the postseason on the road against Lake Travis. And Smithson Valley punched its playoff ticket by beating New Braunfels this past Friday, 42-28. And coach, looking back at that game, you jumped out to a 28-0 lead in the first half, at one point up 35-7 in the second, but New Braunfels came roaring back. And you don't put the game away until very late, inside of a minute to go. Trey Moore, perhaps the biggest defensive play of the year for you, a 71-yard fumble return for a touchdown to seal the win. Yeah. Take us back to the ups and downs of the game and the big play that sealed it for you.
Well, we knew it'd be a game that would be tight. You know, they're a very good football team, and they too were playing for postseason. So, you know, this was a case of two teams getting at it and going for the same thing. And so we got some turnovers. We were +4 in turnovers, and that and an opportunistic offense, particularly with our ground game, got us the big lead. But we knew they weren't through, and I really felt like the key to them getting back in the game. We lost our rhythm a little bit offensively with some penalties that put us way behind the chains on a couple of back-to-back drives. And then they got a couple of explosive throw-in catches. We didn't make them drive the ball like we had been. So next thing you know, we're trying to run out the clock and hold on. We knew our playoff ticket had been punched. At that point, they had to win by 21. We knew that couldn't happen. So we went a little conservative, knowing that barring something crazy, you know, we're going to be in the postseason. But you want to win the game, obviously. Sure. And there they were driving again. And then we, you know, as you said, we got the big sack. It's one of our plays of the week. We'll see here in a little while. And just a great heads-up play by Trade. Strips it and really starts heading the other way before anybody knows what's going on. And 70-some-odd yards later, the game's put away.
Looking back at the play of the two offenses from this past Friday, ideally both teams want to be balanced offensively, looking at the numbers. But New Braunfels really only had success throwing the football. You really only had success running the ball. What did you make of the play of the two offenses who were, again, kind of one-sided this past Friday?
Well, you know, can't speak for New Braunfels, obviously, but we did stop their run, and then they also had to try to win by 21. So my guess is that shaped their play selection a little bit. We can't afford to be patient. Twofold as far as our thinking. Number one, they're having a difficult time stopping the run.
Sure.
And we were having great success running, so like most people, we're going to stay with what's going, and we built a pretty good-sized lead. And then the 21-point margin, the positive point thing, knowing they had to beat us by 21. So let's keep the ball on the ground. Let's grind the clock. It has been successful anyway, and let's make sure that we get out of here with our postseason ticket punch. So a lot of factors, but you're right. It was kind of a top-heavy one way or the other, depending on what team you're for.
And, of course, the game dictated that as well. When you build a big lead, you want to, again, run the football, and New Braunfels has to play catch-up. They have to throw it. But getting back to the ground game for you, Greg Eggleston, what a game for him. Ran for over 250 yards, averaged about 10 yards a carry, 3 rushing touchdowns from this past Friday. We've talked about him a lot this season, to be sure, but just how much of an impact has he made for you offensively this year?
Well, huge, you know, because he can do so many things, and we ask him to do so many things. We ask him to line up at receiver, not just at receiver, but sometimes the outside receiver, sometimes the solo receiver, sometimes the inside receiver. Ask him to carry the ball from the wide receiver position, ask him to be a vertical threat. And then, of course, more and more line him up in the backfield as a bona fide running back. And he's such a smart kid and such a devoted kid, learning all that and having a grasp of that to go along with his natural ability. And I think teams have to know where he's at. And, you know, that has opened up some other things for us, you know, by people keeping tabs on Greg. And the other night, of course, popped some big ones, and he also had some nice inside runs. You mentioned 250 yards and had a 50-ish, 60-ish one call back. Could have been over 300 without the penalty. So he's been very valuable, but Greg be the first to tell you, those guys blocking down the field, guys blocking up front, his catches, somebody's throwing the ball, he'd be the first to credit his teammates, but he makes a difference.
So we've been talking on the show now for about 4 years about just how daunting this district has been, 26-6A. It's changed very little. There was one exchange of teams, Wagner to St. Marcus, but essentially it's been the same district over the past 4 years, and you have found a way to make the postseason despite the daunting week-to-week schedule 4 years running in 26-6A. How much of an accomplishment is that?
Well, I think it's big. I know I'm speaking for Smithson Valley, but my guess is I could be speaking for all the playoff teams. And you know, there's 2 or 3 playoff-worthy football teams that could play a while in the playoffs that aren't going to get to go to the postseason. And we've won the district. We've been the 4th place team. We've been the 2nd seed. You know, we've been, and that's true just about with everybody in the league. So, and then you know we've been fortunate not to be one of the ones when the music stops left without a chair. And it is an accomplishment. And I think past successes have led to a little bit of confidence at our players, and they know it's daunting, but we're going to find a way to get this done because we have in the past. And you know, I think our non-district schedule, Midland Lee, Madison, people like that are of course going to make deep playoff runs maybe themselves. You know, we've been forced to play at that level even before the district starts. So it's nerve-wracking, but it is satisfying.
Again, Smithson Valley, yes, in the postseason following a big win over to Braunfels this past Friday, 42-28. Lots of big plays. We highlighted just a few of them in this week's Plays of the Week.
Let's take a look. Our first big play is a special teams play. After our first touchdown, we took a 7-0 lead, and our kickoff team's on the field. And you'll see a turnover that's going to lead to a second touchdown. Ball's kicked nice and deep and wide by Joaquin Rodriguez, and then the first one down is Jackson Sinney with the circle around him. Jackson won't make the tackle, but as you'll see as the play unfolds, he'll make the guy continue running to the wide side of the field. And when he does, Luis Camacho, who is new to our kickoff team, one of our fullbacks, makes the hit that causes the fumble. Ball is out. Malachi Lane, one of our sophomore linebackers who's on the kickoff team. You can see Malachi scrambling after the ball. And we get the ball on about the 5-yard line, go in a few plays later and score, and it gives us a 14-0 lead. You can see it better from behind the kickoff coverage team. It starts with Joaquin Rodriguez with a very well-placed kick, high and deep and over to the side. New Braunfels trying to do a cross-field return. Malachi Lane on the right, Jackson Sinney, number 10, on the left. Force him not to be able to run where he wants, and he runs away from it. And then here comes Luis Camacho, 33, makes the hit. The ball's out. There it is. You can just barely see it. And you kind of, Malachi underneath all that commotion gets the ball. Just a huge play, big momentum shift, leads to a 14-0 lead. Our next big play is an offensive play. 81-yard touchdown by Greg Eggleston. Greg is playing, he's both wide receiver and running back for us. He's a wide receiver on this particular play. And he comes in motion fast and he runs a jet sweep to the right. You see Luke Gombert handing the football to him. There's a key block there by Chandler Cole that's going to get us to the outside. And then Cooper Douglas, one of our receivers, block on their cornerback. And then finally Austin Howell, number 44, our fullback, seals the cornerback to the outside, and Greg hits the crease right there. And you know, he gains a step, and when he gets a step, he's awfully hard to catch. Well executed play by lots of players, and of course Greg uses his speed for an 81-yard touchdown. See it from the rear, the play picks up in progress, but there's Chandler Cole's block up there high, and then here comes Austin Howell's block right there, and then Greg hits that crease, and he's off to the races. Another big play, and you know, we were really cooking there in the first half and allowed us to go in at the half up 28-7. Our last big play was the game winner. You know, had a big lead, and New Braunfels did as we knew they might and made a nice comeback. And it's inside of a minute to go, and we're protecting a 1-touchdown lead, but as you can see, they're down on our end of the field. We're going to focus on Trey Moore, junior defensive end. He's got the arrow on him at the top of the screen. As the play unfolds, you'll see it's a pass, and he's beating the block of the offensive tackle. He's got his foot in the door there, and now he's rounding the corner. And then Garrett Brooks, our other junior defensive end, has him sacked, and he has the sack and has it secured, so Trey knows that the sack is secure. The ball's exposed, so Trey makes the pretty bold move, and let me try to strip this thing since the quarterback's going down. Pulls it out right there. Now he's got it in his hands. No one really knows what's happening. He's taken off 70 some odd yards the other way before anybody really knows what's going on. Defensive lineman's dream there to strip and go 70 the other way. big play wins the game for us. Looking at it from the end zone, you get a nice look. There's Trey coming from the left side. As the play unfolds, you can see he beats the offensive tackles, turning the corner to the quarterback, makes him step up. When he does, Garrett Brooks makes the sack. Now we turned him, pulls the ball, nothing but green grass ahead of him. You can see everybody kind of freezes. What's going on here? Big play by Trey. That was the game winner, the one that sealed the deal, put us in the playoffs. And those are our plays of the week.
And Coach, of course, we saw a couple of big long touchdowns for you. The run by Eggleston, the fumble return that sealed the game from Trey Moore. But looking at the other play, when you recovered the fumble on the kickoff return by New Braunfels, setting up a short score for you, if you're going to make a long run in the postseason, I think the ability to create short fields is going to go a long way.
Well, there's no question. And the kicking game does that like no other. Offense has a role in that. Defense has a role in that. But punting people back, I think our net punt the other night was 48 and theirs was 24. So, you know, that's a 24-yard differentiation there on the exchange of punts. And then kickoff coverage, pinning them deep versus great kickoff returns that give your offense field position. And, of course, this play that we're talking about, a turnover and getting a short field. And really that play changed the whole complexion of the game because we've already scored to go up 7. They got to beat us by 21. Now they got to beat us by 28. And then we recover that fumble, you know, we're just 5, 6, 8 minutes into the game and go in again. You know, now they've got to win by 42. You know, so, you know, that changes probably their game plan. You mentioned them throwing so much and us running so much. You know, that was a big play and just well done by those young men.
Again, that'll wrap up on Smithson Valley's win over to Braunfels. Up next for the Rangers, a first-round matchup against Lake Travis. A game we'll preview coming up later, but up next, it's time for Smithson Valley's Senior Moments with Emily Wich, along with Rangers Trivia. All that and more coming up as Inside Rangers Football continues right after this.
Mom Needs a Break Cleaning is the professional service you can trust. Thorough, careful, and affordable. We take care of all your home cleaning needs so Mom can take care of the important things in life. Isn't it time you came home to a spotless house without the hours of backbreaking work? Call Mom Needs a Break Cleaning for an over-the-phone estimate and to set your personalized cleaning schedule with us today.
And welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Again, still to come, a preview, Smithson Valley's playoff opener against Lake Travis. But right now, it is time for this week's Senior Moments. And as always, here's Emily Wich with them. Emily?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. So today on Senior Moment Trivia, I have Taylor, Lewis, and Connor here. Boys, today y'all are playing some for a major award, like a major award. So I have a piece of Ranger history right here. This is a piece of the field, since we're getting a new turf outside, from the year of 2011 to 2019. A lot of greatness has been played on this piece of field right here. So y'all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's do it. First question of the day, guys. Which animal is known as the desert's animal? Taylor.
No comment.
Well, that one's not right. Anyone else? Lewis.
Is it like a rattlesnake?
It's not. That's a good try, though. Connor?
A coyote.
No, not a coyote either. The actual correct answer is the camel. Camel is the desert's animal. Yeah. That's where they live. What do you think can last longer without water? Speaking of camels, a camel or a kangaroo rat?
It's got to be a kangaroo rat.
It is. It is a kangaroo rat. Did you know that a kangaroo rat actually can live its whole life without water? Their seeds and beans that they eat have enough water that they never have to drink.
I was just like, the kangaroo rat seems like a dumb choice, so that's got to be.
Got it be. You are on Senior Moments.
Yeah.
The next question is a football question. You guys ready? What NFL coach has the most wins? Taylor.
Madden.
No, not John Madden. Lewis.
Nick Saban.
No, it's not. Connor.
I don't even know the answer to this.
George Belichick.
You've got to buzz in. Yes.
Larry Hill.
That is a good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's the
a
best
good
answer you can
choice.
say. Brownie points.
Actually, the correct answer is Don Shula. He has the most wins. He actually has 2 Super Bowls and still has the only undefeated season in the whole NFL. Pretty cool, huh? So, bonus question. Which team did Don Shula coach for? Lewis?
Cowboys.
No. Connor?
The Steelers.
No. Taylor, buzz in.
49ers.
No, it's actually the Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins?
Yeah,
Dolphins.
the Miami Dolphins.
They're still a team still?
They're in the league? They haven't kicked them out yet?
Okay, you're gonna have to think about this one a little bit. How many curves are in a paper clip? Lewis?
Wait, he can't do this. This is unfair.
No, that's a timer.
It's a timer.
3 is correct. There are 3
It's
curves.
not fair.
Is he allowed to draw in the air like that?
Yeah, take like 5 seconds.
Okay, guys, this is from a movie. Are you ready? What movie has the line, "Tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they will never take"?
Sorry.
Connor?
Is it Braveheart?
It is. What's the word for a bonus point? They will never take our
Freedom.
freedom. Yes.
Is Connor winning now?
Bonus
I got
point.
2 points.
For a bonus point, what actor played the lead role in Braveheart? Lewis?
Tom Cruise.
No, not Tom Cruise. Anyone else?
Connor, do you want to try it?
You know what I mean. You already know what my answer's going to be. Michael Jackson.
Taylor?
Shaq.
No, not Shaq. All right, guys, I'm gonna see how much TV you watch. This one's an old one, but it still runs on TV today. I'm gonna start the song and you finish it. It's a theme song. You ready? In 3, 2,
It's going to be friends.
1. Thank you for being a friend. Lewis?
You got a friend in
No. Taylor?
If I can name the show, is that right?
No.
Yes, you can name the show.
Is it Cheers?
No, it's not. That was a good
Can
guess.
you repeat the line?
Yes. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
It's all
Connor? Not
You
yeah.
have 5 seconds.
I wish. No, it's not. It's the Golden
I
Girls.
think we're actually like the worst people that have been at this table all
I don't know, but I'm winning right now. That's what I'm saying.
In what cartoon is Sir Topham Hatt in? Lewis?
Tom and Jerry.
No, not Tom and Jerry. That's the cat and the mouse. Or the rat.
Sir Topham Hat?
Sir Topham Hatt. Y'all gotta know this.
Yeah.
These are crazy. We're just gonna go with
Connor?
Teen Titans.
No,
Connor, you got 5
Golden
seconds.
Girls.
no. The correct answer, anyone?
Dang, you still have your answer.
Looney Tunes.
Thomas the Train.
Close. Thomas the Train.
You said Tom. Thomas.
When I
the
said Thomas, do you
Train.
think I was about to say Thomas?
I thought you had it. You were so
Yeah, we
close,
did.
Lewis. We did
I
it.
haven't seen the show in forever, bro.
I never even watched it.
I watched
Yeah.
it. It wasn't very good.
I was more of like a super
For a
Friends kind of
bonus
guy.
question, now that you know what it is, does anyone know Thomas's best friend's name? Lewis?
Oh. Bob the Builder.
No!
They're not really together in the same show.
No.
Last question.
Oh gosh.
Ready? Okay, ready? Last question. Who's ready?
Everyone.
I'm not really ready, but yeah.
444 plus 444. Lewis.
888. Is that right? Or no?
We have a three-way tie.
Is that a three-way tie?
Is that when we all get
That
a piece
is
of
a
Do we get to
three-way
split the
tie.
We all get a piece of
Do
the
we get to
field?
split the field?
No, there's going to be a tiebreaker. Get ready. Brace yourself, guys. All right, guys, we are going to have a tie-breaking question. The question is, what is Coach Hill's favorite thing to wear when he's not in Ranger gear?
Hawaiian shirt.
No way!
It is Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, my buzzer's broken. My buzzer's broken. It's broken. I'm done.
Don't step on my glasses, man.
Well, guys, there had to be a winner today, and Taylor, today was you. Guys, thanks so much for being here. It was some tough competition.
It was really hard. Those were wicked hard questions. I didn't know any of them. It was really, really hard. I'm surprised I got the math one right. That's like the only one I got.
Well, thanks for trying. Y'all
My
did
buzzer
good.
broke halfway through.
Coach Brant, back to you.
Peace out.
All right, Emily, good stuff as always in Senior Moments, and also we have some good stuff for you in this week's Rangers Trivia. This week in Rangers Trivia, with Smithson Valley's win over to Braunfels on Friday, the Rangers clinched a playoff spot for the 10th year in a row. What's the team record for most consecutive seasons with a playoff appearance? A, 10 is the record, B, 11 straight seasons, or C, 13 straight seasons? The answer is C, 13 straight seasons. That streak, you guessed it, came under Coach Hill, with the Rangers reaching the postseason every year from 1996 through 2008. Again, 10 straight playoff appearances for the Rangers, 3 shy of tying the program record. And Coach, you and I chronicled earlier just what an accomplishment it has been to make the playoffs 4 straight years in this district. But you go back to that previous 13-year run, 96 through 08. The districts you played in then, they weren't walks in the park either.
No, you know, where we're situated geographically at Smithson Valley means that we will always be in a league like this. You know, for so many years, it was us and Judson Wagner and the Northeast schools in their heyday, and then of course in recent times, you know, obviously the rugged district that we're in now. So it's never been an easy path. I mean, you can look around the state and some guys, and nothing that they've done to deserve it or not deserve it, you know, they get a little easier road. You know, we got to get up for this game. If we win it, we'll win district. If we don't, we're still going to be in. We've never had that advantage, and just looking around 30, 40 miles from our campus in any direction, I don't think we're never gonna get that luxury.
Again, Smithson Valley making its 10th straight playoff appearance, and for the second year in a row, they open up the playoffs against Lake Travis, and we'll preview the game coming up next right here on Inside Rangers Football.
Guaranteeing things get done while saving you time. Speed is a necessity. GVTC understands and delivers the fastest speeds around for customers every day. I'm Greg Eggleston, and GVTC handles my speed.
And welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley opening up the playoffs this Friday on the road to the bi-district round as they take on the Lake Travis Cavaliers. And Coach, a team that needs a little introduction, 6-time state champions. They were 1.15 in a row back when they were a 4A program, now known as 5A. 9-1 this year. The lone loss came to Arlington Martin all the way back in week 1. So ancient history now. 9 wins in a row since then. Those wins coming by a margin of around 36.5 points a game. You faced Lake Travis again at the opening round of the playoffs last year. You faced them in the postseason before as well. What are you up against the Cavaliers this time around?
Well, lots of things. You know, you mentioned their tradition and their program and their way of doing things. So, you know, they're never going to be bad. You know, they're not going to have an off year. They got a big enrollment. They got a lot of kids wanting to play football. They got good coaches. They've got good players. They've got good facilities and tradition. They got a lot of things rolling as far as that goes. And, you know, so we know what we're up against. You mentioned their run throughout the year. You know, the league is, them and Westlake are pretty top heavy at the top of that league, and that was of course a go down to the last play type of game there, and that they were able to win. And they've been in plenty of big ball games before, so it's doubtful we're going to catch them unprepared or not ready for the moment And of course, we're playing at their place. So it's a tall order, but we're ready for it.
And Coach, you look at the offense for Lake Travis, it's been a high school quarterback factory over the years. You look at Cade Brewer now at Baylor. You look at Baker Mayfield now playing in the NFL. Garrett Gilbert played at the University of Texas. Todd Reesing played at Kansas. And right now, it's another Texas commit, Hudson Card, albeit Card did suffer an injury against Westlake, the game you referenced. He's not played since then. There is a chance he could play on Friday. If not, we'll see Nate Yarnell, who's filled in for him just fine in the 3 games he has started. The Cavaliers haven't scored fewer than 49 points. So looking at the offense beyond quarterback, whoever it is, Card or Yarnell, when you have those skill position players and that offensive line, it can be a tough one to contain.
Well, there's no question. You know, they have talent at every position. They don't feature one guy in a throwing game. They've got some kids who have more catches than others, but they're spraying the ball around to a lot of folks, using multiple running backs, all of whom are good. And, you know, they're good at what they do. And, you know, the offense gets a lot of notoriety, as it should, but defensively, you know, they're talented at every position there as well. And, you know, we're not going up and playing a team that's got a lot of weak links. You know, we're just going to have to play good, do what we do better than they do what they do. I mean, it's one of those kind of games.
I want to look more at the defense. You look at the numbers so far this season, they have not given up more than 30 points in a game since week 1, and they have forced 15 takeaways. And you look at the way that they're getting into the backfield, 37 tackles for loss, 16 sacks so far this season for the Cavaliers. What's the scouting report on Lake Travis's defense, and how do they create matchup problems?
Well, you know, they do a good job moving their people around. You know, they're a little chaotic as far as their linebacker alignments in their front and what they do with them. They can be blitz happy at times, other times not. You know, but keep balls in front of them. Don't give up a lot of big plays and throws over the top. And, you know, have good players up front in their front 4, good solid players. It allows them to do some different things with their linebackers because they've got guys up front that are very difficult to block in a one-on-one situation.
Looking back at the course of the regular season, your schedule, you go back to non-district play, having played Midland Lee, having played Madison, a couple of district champions there. You look at your own district, Clemens and Judson and Steele. How battle-tested are you for the playoffs, and how do games like that get you ready for an opponent like Lake Travis?
Well, you certainly hope that they do. And those non-district games that you mentioned were scheduled for that reason. The district, I don't know if any of us in 26A would pick this district to put us all together like that. But the reality of it is you just rattle off about 5, maybe 6 opponents that, you know, that are capable of deep playoff runs. And, you know, won some of those, lost some of those, but all of those are valuable in the sense that you're in an environment that puts you under the gun. And there's no question we'll be under the gun this Friday, and, you know, we hope to draw from that experience and make us, you know, the game slow down just a little bit, as opposed to somebody maybe who's had a pretty soft run, maybe had a 10-0 year, never really been challenged, and then suddenly cold water's in your face, and what do you do?
Right.
And so, we hope to draw from that this Friday night.
You mentioned environments. Again, you're playing a true road game. The game is at Lake Travis on Friday. What does Friday's game come down to?
Well, you know, I think the usual things. I mean, there's more at stake when you're in the playoffs, obviously. But it still comes down to takeaways and turnover margin. You know, can you get some takeaways? Can you take care of the ball? It still comes down to making an impact play in the kicking game. It still comes down to not letting them have an explosive 70-yard one-play drive, and maybe getting 1 or 2, 3 of those on your own. And so, when you cut through it all and just get it down to bare bones, it's really the same thing that was an impact in game 1 when you start the year.
All right, Coach, best of luck on Friday.
Thank you, Brant.
Again, Smithson Valley taking on Lake Travis in the bi-district round of the 6A playoffs this Friday in Lake Travis. Kickoff is at 7:30, and we'll have the game for you right here on the Rangers Network. For head coach Larry Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time.